Hey, Matt, have you received the GoFundMe page yet?
I haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
I
Well,
haven't.
well, I told you I created a GoFundMe page so we can buy TikTok together.
I
So
thought I thought you were joking about that.
no, it's on. It's on. Like, let's
We're
go.
on.
Yeah,
So
we.
how much money do we need to raise?
I mean, I technically I heard that the number is around 100 billion. So I put $500 already. So
That's we could raise that in a couple days.
yeah, let's do it.
I can't wait. I can't wait to own TikTok. That'll be so much fun.
So much fun. Can't wait the algo. Yeah.
Uh,
All right. Hello, everybody. This is Nicholas, and I am with Extremely. So excited to be here. And as you can see, I have some microphone issue again today. So I don't know what's happening, and hope we will have a good audio coming up of the show. I am Nicholas with Extremely, the company that gets you on Extremely on live commerce and video commerce on your site, social media, wherever you are with your videos. And I'm with my super guest, Matt from E6 Marketing, the company that gets you on QVC. How are you doing today, Matt? We have so much to talk about.
there's a little bit of news this week in our world that we'll cover today.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we started to eat on some of a big enterprise. We are going to raise some money to try to buy TikTok. But with that being said, why don't you start kicking off the show by telling us why we're here, Matt?
Yeah, thank you. So thank you very much for tuning in. This is called the Vcommerce Show. Nicholas and Matt, we are on every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We're on all your social platforms or many of your social platforms. And what we talk about is video commerce. Video commerce is the dynamic of selling product through live television. DRTV, direct response television, is when it started, probably 30, 40 years ago, evolved into QVC and HSN. And now you could sell and buy products off your phone, off your computers and apps. It's an amazing, emerging, growing dynamic. So hopefully we normally talk about 3 or 4 topics each week. Hopefully you learn something, have a little fun with us, and learn what's going on in this v-commerce dynamic. And the big story this week is about video commerce, Nicholas.
Absolutely, and what a great story to start with. You and I, we talked about it last week. And to be completely transparent with you, I was actually looking at the news, and you were saying like the bill was alongside with the package for Ukraine and Israel. And I was like, everyone was talking about the package. That's the only thing that the news were talking about. And I was like, where is this TikTok story? So I had seen one article talking about it. So, okay, well, that's probably how Matt got the news about it. But then I watched it the whole weekend, and then he said it's signed, and then I'm still watching the news, and everyone talks about the bill and everything, but no one really talk about the underlying thing, which is the 9 months window that the US TikTok has before selling. And I was so shocked that I think it was not before Tuesday that I start seeing headline talking about it. It was really buried under, as you say. It was so crazy.
There's so much to talk about. So what Nicholas is talking about was the Biden administration basically buried this TikTok story into a foreign aid bill to Israel and the Ukraine. And this law what stipulates that ByteDance, who owns TikTok, must sell its stake in TikTok within 12 months under the threat of being shut down. So TikTok is owned by ByteDance. In 2027, ByteDance bought the technology. It used to be called Musical.ly, and they relaunched the service as TikTok. And now we know, and our audience knows, TikTok has become a huge social media platform. Almost or half of the country is somehow connected to TikTok. And they launched TikTok Shop in the last year, and TikTok Shop has blown up. So anyone that works or knows about the video commerce space knows that the opportunity to sell through TikTok is a really powerful dynamic. So this was kind of buried, as Nicholas said, into a story about another bill about foreign aid, and now I feel like everyone's panicking. A lot of the creators and the content owners are thinking doom and gloom, and this is the worst thing that could possibly happen. Which I know it's jarring, But I think we've got some points on, the sky is not falling for any content creator.
Yeah, and I think the first thing to remember, and that's something that we've talked before and on the podcast and everything, is like, don't build on rented land. And when we say don't build on rented land, is like, the rented land, you can have a billboard. Like someone was telling me this a little earlier this week. Like you can have a billboard on your rented land, but you don't want to build on your rented land. And so if TikTok is your billboard, the wall is not falling apart. Like the question for you is like, what do you do from that, right? Where are you? First of all, I have heard brands that I will continue to invest in TikTok because at the end of the day, a new administration is coming soon. It's 12 months, right? So there will be time to actually make adjustments, possibly. So 9 months and the president can grant an additional 12 months. So it means that the next president may be able to change things. I mean, it's
Well,
not of the question.
we might not have a next president. Biden could get reelected. That's
In-
one part of it. But the dynamic of it being a political hot button is insane. Biden, he pushed this bill through, and then I read an article that said, but he's still going to use this in his political campaign. So he's going to continue, and he still, he has in the past, and he will in the future, use TikTok as a political vehicle to push his agenda. All the political ads that we're starting to see already. So, in my opinion, like TikTok Shop is like we've talked about it. It's for younger men and women, maybe Gen Z, and certain dynamics that really rely on it. Some of that younger consumer actually uses it as their lone source of news.
Yeah.
So it's become a great social media platform. And by the way, for our purposes, product is sold through there. And it's sometimes great product. And people are learning about the video commerce world through it. This whole younger generation has a platform now to sell their wares and to market what they do and build their personas and build their followers and all that type of thing. So it wasn't jarring to me. And I don't think the world, I don't think the sky is falling. The articles I was reading was you have to back up your data, back up your videos on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, or how about your own website, just in case this goes away. But this is not happening tomorrow. It's 9 months to 12 months, a possible shutdown.
And then it could also be not a shutdown, but like someone acquiring the company, and so now you have, and maybe the company will be the same. Maybe the algo won't be there, but your followers will still be there if that's the case. So you can still have a business that's viable for you. In that, I think the idea here is like you to think as a business owner, as a brand, like what do you do with it? Like how do you mitigate the risk? Do you want and I have heard brands saying, I'm not continuing, I'm concerned, but I will continue to invest because for me it's working. And right now, there's not so many things that are working, and that's one of them. And so I want to continue there.
Well, how could you possibly walk away from video commerce if you're already in it and it's working? There's going to be a video commerce dynamic, whether it's TikTok Shop or something else. If another big company buys it, and we've seen all those articles this week about, big people like Mark Cuban and others trying to gather people to literally buy it, if that's even allowed. The algorithm is so valuable. Like that's really the dynamic everyone wants. Will it be Mark Zuckerberg and Instagram and Facebook, or will it be someone else? Will it be something out of the, that we have never heard of?
Yeah, I don't think the FTC will allow Zuck to buy TikTok. But to your point, we know that Instagram is really gearing up to become that place of video commerce more aggressively, where they just roll out recently that any Facebook store that are not connected to payment will be shut down. So there will be no redirect anymore. So the checkout has to happen directly on Facebook. We know also that they have a lot of processing power, right? Where they had they bought a bunch of H100 to train the algorithm and to improve the whole Instagram experience. So they have the power to create a For You page as well, because they have the technology and the compute. So there's a lot of things going on, and I do believe that probably Instagram is going to be one, and Meta in general was going to be one of them that's going to try to pick up the cherry of the pie, I will say.
Yeah. So what I say to my wife all too often, which it drives her crazy, is don't panic and and control what you can control.
Yeah.
So I don't want, none of the creators should be panicking. They shouldn't be jumping off the platform. They should continue doing what they're doing, continue to enhance that video commerce experience, their relationship with their customers, the dynamic of live selling, and in the background, uh, save your data, save the videos in whichever format you want, and then see what happens. We're talking about a year from now, so it's nothing imminent. Uh, you know, stay the course is basically would be my advice for all content creators in our
Absolutely.
space.
And for anyone in this space to end up on the conversation, if you're really so concerned about, just come with us, chip in. We're going to buy TikTok, and Matt and I will make sure that everyone, the TikTok, the stay the way it is, and it's going to continue to be great. So
Yep,
let's do that. All
yep. Let's
right,
do it.
let's go on the next story. The next story I want to brought up is Zipline. I don't know if you heard about Zipline, Matt, and I don't think you had, but it's the autonomous drone startup. They actually reached a pretty significant milestone by completing 1 million delivery. So it's a zero emission drone delivery system that has flown over 70 million miles, delivering more than 10 million products from over 470 4,700 hospital and company, including Walmart, GNC. My understanding is that they are doing a lot of like rural areas and doing this for drone, but there's been a lot of conversation about how do we get those kind of system inside the cities as well. But I just found it interesting, right? Uh, there has been conversation around Amazon doing, like a drone delivery and everything, but like a million delivery, this is no small number. It means that the thing it is happening. So I think drone delivery is not a thing of the future. It's here, it's here to come, and it's going to continue.
I'm amazed. I'm amazed. A million deliveries. Not was talking about the city dwellers and apartment dwellers and all those people. You take those out of the equation. Talk about anyone that lives anywhere close to an airport or any kind of dynamic with air traffic. Take those people out of the dynamic. Yet they've still made a million deliveries. So I kind of thought this was a funny kind of joke in the beginning, which obviously it was, and it failed many times, but this company has honed it enough to make a million deliveries in a short period of time. So honestly, I read this on your eStreamly newsletter this morning, and then I did a deep dive about the brand itself, and I didn't know much about Zipline before I read that on eStreamly. So I'm fascinated. I'm really fascinated by how they got to that $1 million number and how they're going to grow and make it more mainstream.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not $1 million though; it's a million
I'm
delivery.
sorry, million deliveries, million
Million
deliveries.
delivery. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what on you go to the next story for us?
Yeah. So something I saw this week, I'm not sure you saw it, but Saks Fifth Avenue, which is a high-end retailer in the U.S., they created a Saks Media Network. So now they're in the video commerce space. It's called Saks Live, and it's based off the Beverly Hills store, Saks Fifth Avenue. So, and obviously available in other cities as well, but Beverly Hills is kind of like the flagship store. New York City flagship store. Major content or major fashion designers are involved in Saks Live. Tom Brown, Camilla Franks. I was looking at videos from them, and they're doing live streams of their fashion collections. So it's discover shoppable live streams featuring on-demand style, inspiration, and inside access to new collections, beauty must-haves, and more. So, Nicholas, what do you think about Saks Fifth Avenue getting involved in the video commerce space?
I mean, it does make sense, right? When you think about the broad landscape, like we know that people engage for video, they want to shop from video. We know that people want to learn more about products. Saks is such an iconic brand, and they have so much to offer because of the breadth of their portfolio and the image that they provide. And I think it makes so much sense. I'm so excited that a company like that is taking the leap. And what's very interesting is that by saying it's a media, right? It does show also that, it's something we talked about. Like any company today that don't realize they are a media company, they will not survive, right? And yes, we know everyone is talking UGC, everyone is talking video for ads, but it's more than that, right? Video and media in general is becoming the thing that people need to really own and think about and think through. Think about Mattel. Mattel is doing TV. They are doing movies. They are doing short videos. They are doing game. They are much more than a toy company. And I think that you have a brand. If you have a brand, you want to make it resonate. What do you do to elevate that brand and become a media place? That's fascinating.
I think it's very, very savvy. Obviously, newspapers are dying, television, traditional television and radio are dying. People are unplugging their TVs. So now, to your point, if you're a e-commerce or a commerce company, if you're selling any kind of wares or product, and you're building a consumer base, you need to involve the media into your dynamic. And Saks creating their own media network is very aspirational. I think it's phenomenal. I'm looking forward to watching their content to see how good it is, which kind of goes into our next report. Like, will Saks spend a lot of money on their production? Will Saks, have a 3-camera shoot and thousands of dollars worth of lights and have a producer and an editor and photographers, or are they going to do this down and dirty and have a 1-camera shoot with one person with one highlight and go? So how's it going to evolve?
I don't know, but I have a big feeling that that's not going to be the case of like that one camera, one shoot. But you're making a good point. I think the fourth topic we wanted to bring on is this recent article, this recent report from Wistia. Wistia, that in partnership with TikTok and HubSpot, they created this report that they publish every once a month. And this report, you can download it. Go to their website. You can download their report. It's pretty interesting. But one of the highlights of the report is that it's something we've talked about many times as well, is that content doesn't has to be this fancy, flashy, high production cost to actually be engaging and make a big difference, especially when you talk about video commerce, video content that is here to drive sales. We've talked about like the recipe for what we think is important is the success is the authenticity by the frequency, by the worthiness. As long as you deliver value, you're authentic with your content, and then you're frequent about delivering that content, you are going to be successful. And it's not because you have, fancy camera, 4K stuff, and, microphone that are coming all over different angles, 10 people crew to record your content. Yeah, it does make a difference, but what is the incremental impact that doing that will make to your content itself? And that's where I think it's important. A lot of brand, in my point of view, still don't quite get that, because I think if you think of it from an agency perspective and you are paid by the fee, right, by the total value of the budget, you have a natural incentive to have a big production crew, And but the reality is, like, do you need that? And I encourage anyone that is in this space to think through that, because the higher your production cost, the lower your ROI as well. Because now you're like, okay, if you have a 100K budget and then you're spending that in free show, you're not going to get any sales, or it's going to be very hard for you to get sales. Now, if you do that and you say, I'm going to split this out to whatever number of show you want, now, and you're moving that cost to frequency, that's when you're going to start to see some incremental sales, and you're going to start to see what the path forward is for you. So that's something I wanted to bring on because I'm super passionate about that.
Authenticity and storytelling. These are two things that everyone should be focused on when they're getting into the live streaming space. Are they going to be authentic? Can they be true to themselves? And are they the brand? Can they speak from a personal standpoint of them being the brand? If you're not the owner or the president of the company, you're working with the company or you're engaged with that company, you need to be authentic as best you can. And then the storytelling dynamic, that's engagement to me. Like, it's not just showing a product and moving on. And we saw that video a couple months ago about a woman flashing product for one per second. Like that's not what we do here in Vcommerce. We're about storytelling. We're about engaging and keeping the customer on as long as we can, and really being authentic in our take. Now, I will say, good video is important. I need to see the creator. I need to see the product. I need to hear the creator. All that kind of thing. That's all very, very important. Now, this Wistia report kind of touches upon that a little bit. You still have to pay attention to your lights and your camera to an extent, but being autistic or being authentic and being a storyteller far exceeds those kind of things.
Absolutely. And we're not saying like just do, take your phone and record yourself in the middle of the toilet. So that's not the point here, right? The point is like you have to have a minimum settings, a minimum environment that you feel comfortable with, but don't overbuild, don't overcompensate for your brands, or you can still produce really good content with technology nowadays, like tool like StreamYard can really make like a simple show much better already, right? So and that's only $20 a month. So
yeah, well, as we said in the beginning of the show, with this TikTok dynamic, like I think creators need to own their own content. Using eStreamly or companies like yours is the smart way to go to bring the consumer back to your owned site rather than using a third-party site. So that Wistia report kind of reinforces what you've always said. I think that's good for content creators to really put in the forefront of their mind.
So special shout out on your side, Matt?
Yeah, so this was a big week at QVC. They launched a big marketing campaign called the Age of Possibility, the Q50 Collective. So this is basically highlighting their female consumer who's 50 years old or older. So they did a really big launch in Las Vegas on Tuesday. They had the sphere in their background. They did an amazing show with amazing visuals highlighting Hollywood celebrities, on-air hosts, on-air guests: Naomi Watts, Kathy Lee Gifford, Mally Roncal, Laura Geller, Pat Dementry, Jane Brown. So many wonderful, amazing women that work for QVC or work with QVC were there in Las Vegas, and they launched this great campaign highlighting a woman over 50 years old and making her relevant. She's always been relevant in QVC's mind. That baby boomer has been their primary consumer from the very beginning. So it's nothing really new, but it's kind of giving a brighter spotlight on that 50-year-old plus woman. So congratulations to QVC. Congratulations to all the content creators and brand owners and hosts and guests that were a part of the production crew that were there. It was an amazing 2 hours that they produced, an amazing event.
That looks quite nice. It's pretty amazing, yeah, right? I love the pictures. It's really cool.
Yeah.
We put the pictures up there. We see the sphere and all the colors. That sphere is really very unique technology. It's really interesting what you can do with it.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing.
All right, awesome. Well, on my side, a small shout out again. It's just highlighting that we have a newsletter that we write every week, that I write every week on Thursday night. Typically, that's when I put it up. And so if you're interested, I'll put the link in the comments. It's a newsletter where we talk about the kind of topic of e-com. Some we talked again on this podcast, some we don't. So if you're interested, just jump in, and we have like a small meme of the week and some other stuff that we put on this that makes this whole newsletter entertaining. So if you're interested, just jump in. This is free, and it's just something I've been doing for the last 2 years, and it's been my highlight of the week as well. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you, Matt, for taking the time. It's been another amazing week, and I can't wait to see what's next week has to deliver for us.
Oh, wonderful, Nicholas. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
All right, bye.